So welcome to the NAPI team meeting for December 18th, 2020. We'll follow our standard agenda, but before we get into that, does anybody have any announcements or anything like that that they'd like to share? If not, we'll go and take a look at the issues which are tagged for milestone 11. I'm going to share the screen. There we go. So the first one, review external examples. I know I haven't had time to do this yet, and Gabriel had to run off for a minute, so I don't think we made any progress on that. I also haven't looked at enabled debug testing yet. In terms of the burning down the issues that were raised, just a note that I did turn on Stalebot based on some of the discussion that we've had earlier, and have been sort of closing a good number of issues. I think we're down to 67 issues now, which is good. But keep your eye open for any that, maybe we shouldn't have closed. Are there any particular issues that people think we should discuss? I have a number of stale ones that we should look at, but wanted to see if there's any ones that people want to sort of call out for us to look at before we do that. Just going to go and take a look here. I'll pull this in. Sorry, go ahead. So Nicola, did you have something you want to point us at?
I need to find the 855 on node.js.
Okay, let me pull. I'm guessing it's an issue. This one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we have Jim. Yeah.
Okay, let me go over and promote him. Sorry. There we go. Hi, Jim.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so you wanted you're thinking we should look at 855?
Yeah, if you share the screen, yeah,
That's where do you want? I'll share your comment here. Is that?
Yeah, I wrote my comment based on the experience that I had trying to create a binding for Go.
Yep.
And okay, so if and my experience is similar to who wrote the previous comment, and
right.
Because my first solution on a unit system was to set the flags for the linker, to ignore the unresolved symbols. For me, it's a good solution because I'm creating binding only for an API. So I handle only the NAPI function, no? But it's not a good solution at the end because on Windows I cannot do this because GCC for Windows does not support this kind of flag for the linker. And then I had to create a stub library for an API. So I did manually at first time, and then at the end I can say that for sure you need the header files because I have my include directory where I put the NAPI header files, and it could be good if we have a container that provide you these header files. Otherwise, you need to download from the node.js website, but because you can find the header files on node headers, no? But you need to download the version that contains the last version of an API. So what I'm trying to do is create a CLI that print this symbol, the resource symbol, and you can use that on your CI or your build projects to create this fake library of an API. So you can compile without problem from the linker, and then maybe we can think that this is a draft for a binding with Go, and
I guess what I was wondering is, what did we saw the def file. What did the file that you needed for this look like? Right, like the def, the .def is this
is only a list of the
right.
symbol, no? And you can use this def file with a tool that is provided by MinGW, and from that def file you can create a fake DLL, no, a library that has that symbols, and you can compile without the linker complain, no?
Right.
So otherwise you the linker give you an error because undefined symbols, etc., etc. So essentially you need only a list of the symbols. So my idea is, okay, give a CLI that print this symbol, and you can use the print. No, you pass this print to create the def file or whatever, and whatever you need, and then use your def file or to create this library or what you need in specific use case. And if it's not enough, we can provide the API that uses the CLI, so you can create something more usable for your specific use case. And I don't know. There are different ways to do this. But we could start from the header files, the NAPI header files, and from this header analyze the header and provide the symbol, like the exported symbol, for example. Or maybe we can make something more static, no? And yeah, because we the sample that we export are are milestone, no? And
right.
so they never change. And at the end, if we add something, some new function, we can update our package, no? That you put the NAPI headers. And I won't post okay. I won't post something on the chat. So.
Or do you want to share your screen
No,
too, or?
You can. But,
okay, sure.
Okay, I shared my screen.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so now I started working on this experiment, no? And yeah, it's like personal project, and and this is the goal. So here I'm trying to put all the the function that we export, and then you can use now I'm just defining the data structure that I want to use. It's nothing. It's an experiment. I don't know if this is the final structure, but essentially I want to use this to a CLR that print all the symbols. Maybe we can use some options to print like a JSON or other format, no? Or maybe print just the symbol, just the list of the symbol, or maybe we can expose all these API. And if you can build your own CLI or use the API on your other module, I don't know. So this is my my idea about the issue. So I don't know what is.
Did you need more than, like, if we looked at that def file? I'm going to share that again if that's okay. No,
okay.
no. Yeah, so I'm going to, yes. So this def file, did you need more than just this? Like if I deleted this, if we'd published that file, would that have been enough for you in the Go case?
Yeah, in Go case, yes. Yes.
Okay. Because I think it would be pretty easy to maintain this one list here. And basically when there's a new NAPI version, we have to add an entry. And as long as this list is the same thing you need for any platform, that seems like not too much to have to to maintain or provide, right?
Yeah, I don't know because if okay, okay, in my case it's okay. So I don't know if in other platform you can use this. I don't know, maybe in other operating system or for other compiler, if
Right.
it's the same.
Which
So
platforms did you cover?
my only Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. So with GCC and
Right.
with CLang. That
That
it's
seems
the
like a reasonable starting point, right? Like it'd kind of be like, here's the symbols. I guess you need to take those symbols and do something with them to put it into like a def file or some other type of file as well, right? But
yeah, it's it's good for me. Okay, it's a starting point.
because
So
that's I would try and keep it simple and just say, well, you know, a file with this list seems like very little work, easy to maintain, right?
yes.
And not necessarily one like, let's not try and figure it out for all the different platforms and have 5 copies of the file. If it's useful to say, here's one file, just includes the symbols, you can, you know, use that. So for example, in the case of Windows, you know, he would have to have added, now this part is a little different, but like this part, they would have had to add that themselves.
Yeah, this was my idea, because we need to provide only the list of the NAPI symbols.
Right.
And then you can add what you need for your specific use case, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and if it's really just the, like all that's required is these names, I think, yeah, they shouldn't change, like you said, and it seems reasonable to, if we're going to provide a package that just has the other bits that we talked about, that including that list as well would be easy to do.
Yeah, for sure we need the header files and this list. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna, if we go back to the issue, where is the, I think I had the issue. Right, sorry, I'm trying to find that again. I must have probably closed the window. Oh no, here we go, okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna get back and then I'll add a comment based on what I think I understand. Does that make sense in terms of?
Yeah, for me, yes.
Okay. So, because yeah, I think given that, just adding that list is a small amount of extra work and would actually make sense. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so it sounds like we're fairly positive on doing something like this. I guess in terms of the the next steps, we maybe would need to figure out how we would name it when publishing, and I guess the repo. How do we want to manage that? Do we want like a new repo under Node, just to maintain those few files and then to be used for publishing? Is that the easiest way to do it?
Did we have a comment from last week, Michael?
Sorry, say that again.
Did we have a comment on this from last week? I think we.
Yeah, we had a few on the here. Let me find that one in terms of names.
You provide
Right.
some
Yeah.
names, no? And
Yeah.
It's good for me, but I don't. So I don't think that we can put this on Node API.
Right.
It's
I
not,
guess it's not really tied to Node API,
it's
right?
not
So.
like something. And I don't know even if in the core, no, because an API it's in the core or not, but
I'm thinking we would maybe ask for a new repo, which is like Node.js and Node API headers.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to people?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So that's our next step, I think, is to request that. We can kind of explain what the use case is, see if anybody has any, like in the core contributors have any issues or not, and then we could go forward with that.
Okay.
Does anybody want to open up that request?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I was sorry, I was just asking if anybody wanted to go ahead and open up that request in the admin repo. I'm happy to do it, but I'm also happy for anybody else to do it. So
in admin repo.
Yeah, they're here. Let me just point you in the admin. So in the where is it? GitHub org management. So under here, repositories. Just looking. Where is the request? Right. Okay. So this section here describes. I'll paste it in the chat. The process that we need to follow, which is basically to open an issue in the admin repo that says, hey, we'd like to create this new repo. Here's some some info about what it's going to be used for. And
okay, I can do this.
Okay, let me just paste it into the
chat. If you pass the link on the chat.
Yeah. There.
And then Nicola, if you would tag our team on that, then we would all get notices and we could watch the progress on that.
Yeah, and comment as well. So that would be good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that one was good. Is there any others that you think we should talk about? Let's just take a quick look to see if there's any new Any other new issues or PRs near the top of the list? I don't think none of these look too new or that there's too much discussion. These, nothing new there. Let's take a quick look at Node.
I'd like to mention the PR. I believe it's on Node add-on API. The pull request ID is 738.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I see there is no blocking issue for this one, so I'd like to know if there is any other thing we need to do before landing this one. Because I have found that since we have GitHub Actions running on the master branch, so I found there is a random crash, random segment fault on the master branch. And
Okay.
so maybe we can running, since we currently running the tests in single processes, so we no way to figure out which tests are causing the segment fault. So this test can help to diagnose the problem.
So I
that we
think
can
it looks like it needs a rebase.
Yeah, right.
It needs to rebase, and before there was just a few, like the tests were failing. So I think if we rebase it and the test passed, we can land it. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything other than, you know, rebase and make sure the test pass, and then we'll be good.
Sounds great.
Okay. Let's just flip over to Node and take a quick look. See if we have anything tag for Node and API. Let's see.
I believe you have to remove the NAPI in the search to show all the issue and PR labeled by an API.
Ah, okay. Right, okay. So you've got this one, these two, they're both drafts?
Yeah.
So that one.
This one I have to figure out what's if there is any other case that I haven't called by
Right.
haven't called the on-call exception case. So I don't have any time this week, so I try to figure out in the next week.
Sounds good. And then this one. Right, so there's definitely some discussion. Right, I don't know that there's anything for us to discuss here. Sounds like there's good active discussion in the issue itself. Let's just look at the issues then. Similarly, issues. Okay, this one is recent-ish. I guess this is one that just like as an FYI, we need some people to take a look at and to comment on. Maybe I'm going to ping Kevin and since they've been working most on the thread safe side of things?
The first side, I believe it's related to maybe the PR we've just submitted in draft.
Okay.
Then it sounds like uncalled exceptions in thread safe function. So maybe I can take a look into it.
Okay. So sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so I think that covers the ones that are newish there. The other thing I thought would be good for us to do is to look at, since we've turned on Stalebot, there have been a number of stale issues flagged. So I thought there was a few. There's this one, which is around basically being able to get the add-on module. I think it may be best to leave this on the list until Gabriel is here, because I know he'd been looking at that, and unless anybody else has any suggestions or comments. Okay, the next one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay. This one was around detach array buffer.
But now we have the detach and detach array buffer.
Ah, so okay, so we already have that.
Yeah, with the last with 3.10 on a node.js API, and I think
Okay.
that an API 6, I don't remember well.
Okay.
So yeah.
So basically, I'm just detach. Yeah. Okay. So we now have is detached and detach support in API 7. So I think that's the right answer. We can close this.
Okay, for sure on Node.js API 3.10, we have Navi array buffer detach, and the Navi array buffer is detached. So
right. Yeah.
I don't know if it's in an API 7 for sure. Yes.
I just looked at the include. It basically says if an API 7 greater than equal to 7
Yeah.
is
Okay.
detached in
Yeah,
his array
it's
buffer.
right.
So yeah, I think that's
nice.
good. Okay, so good. We can close that one out. So I'm going to sort of strike through. I think if I do that, is that nope.
Tilde. You should use tilde.
Tilde. Okay.
Yeah, tilde. Yeah.
Or 1 tilde, 2 tildes.
2. I remember.
Okay.
2.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks. And then 439. This one is right. So this one I think is related to the scope of an API.
Yeah, and the CAPI. So right or no?
Right, so we're mostly A, I think.
Hmm.
I gotta say, I think
Yeah, I think particular async worker and the thread safe function. Or
even thread safe function
yeah,
is
yeah,
in core, right?
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah.
So is that fair? Do we need to say anything more than that? That like it's mostly A with some small additions, in particular support to support transition from NAN? That's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, we'll see if we'll leave it at that. See if there's any more discussion or not.
Yeah, based on what we did, yeah, it's the A. Huh.
So edit. I think I'll leave this issue open because I think we'll have a few more, like the stale bot is kind of going through and closing it, or like marking, 4, 5, 6 every day. So we'll continue to have that. So if you see any that, get marked stale, but you think we should talk about, just add them onto this list.
Okay.
And I managed to do that wrong again. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, I think that pretty much takes us to the end of the agenda. Anything else that anybody wanted to talk about today?
Michael, I'd just like the team to be aware of the discussion James Snell has going on the
Right.
core. I'll paste the discussion into the chat. And we may want
sorry, I think you mentioned that last time and we ran out of time. So.
Yeah, we did.
About the usage of an API for a quick, for example. Yeah, is that discussion?
For this idea, it segues perfectly off that issue that we were just looking at. It discusses what they call official native add-ons, and I think it'd be good if we could just discuss briefly what our role might be on that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I guess like the official, there was, right from the very beginning, there was always the concept of like, could we at some point refactor Node itself to use NAPI? But you know, there's always concerns over performance, other things like that.
Yeah.
This seems a little different than that, right? Like, because this seems to want to have add-ons which are not shipped with Node, but which are considered like things we can't break or something like that.
Yeah. Michael, you're not sharing your screen.
Okay, sure, I can share go back to, it opened up this one. The thing the challenges is exactly what was starting to be discussed there, was like, how do you decide what's official, and what does that mean, and what is it like, what's the scope of that even, like,
right?
It's kind of like, I know in the quick case, the challenge is that you know, OpenSSL isn't adding the methods that are needed for quick, so it's a challenge to say that, yeah, okay, we're going to float a patch on OpenSSL in core to support that. But my initial reaction is kind of like, well, why would we want to do that in an add-on? Because if we're sort of making them official, like they're not going to be broken, then I guess it's either that you're extending another set of APIs that won't change, or you're, you know, taking on that same burden of saying, well, we're going to, you know, maintain this other thing, right? I guess maybe it's more about extending the things that are like won't change. I'm kind of thinking that if you're going to do that, hopefully you would expose those things through Node add-on through an API.
But I can imagine that today maybe we with an API we don't cover all that. To implement quick like separate native add-on.
Right.
Yeah, this is the question. So
yeah.
we need to add something new on an API. Is it right?
I think that would, I'm not sure that's not what was being proposed, like, because I think that would be just an obvious way forward, is to say, okay, here's 5 new methods that we need to expose through an API. Do they make sense? Are they the kind of things we can keep stable? If so, then, you know, just add them. I kind of read this as, you know, James was looking at some other API which wouldn't necessarily be in an API itself, right? Like here, let's go back to here. So he says uses an extended API stable API that goes beyond what an API does today. So yeah, maybe I read it wrong, but like I didn't read that as like extending an API to have more functionality.
Yeah. And he posted what he want. So node sock. Yeah, node-sockad.h async underscore wrap.h. So, for example, no?
Right.
That
yeah,
is
where this is, yeah. So it's not really I don't think what's being proposed is an extension to an API, but something which has some of the same characteristics, But like in this case, the stability degrees might not be as strong.
Yeah, maybe what proposed by Anna is good.
Right, it would be something which is, yeah.
So there would be a parallel API that would be kind of parallel to an API.
Yeah, I think it would
the,
be more of an internal, like it's.
Okay.
I think it was, and when it gets to be for official add-ons, then for add-ons it starts to get a little bit more complicated as to what that would look like. I think it's like it's talking about trying to make some of the internals more stable, or an API which is more likely to remain stable.
So maybe James wants some like NAPI styles, but yeah, for internal node API call,
right?
That simplify the implementation of yeah, this kind of official native add-on.
Like it could be an addition to an API, and hopefully even use like a similar style slash approach. Just that external users, you know, you don't get that full API stability, so it's not part of an API itself, even though it could look a lot like it.
I see. Okay.
And maybe you would use the two of them very closely together, right?
And if API stability could be assured, then it could be part of an API.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that would be in my mind, is if it's, you know, if it's something where you say, yeah, okay, that totally makes sense to be API stable for any user, then why not just have it part of the API?
Yeah, okay.
How will that be different from using NAND or Node API or via the API directly?
I don't think it would be different technically. It just might be that some of those things we can't make part of the API because we don't know that they can stay stable. I think that's part of the discussion, was that it was that these things, you know, everything that he was looking for isn't something that necessarily we can say, yeah, that's going to be stable going forward forever.
Yeah. I see the main point in the discussion is that we can reuse the code base in the Node core and those official add-ons. So the main goal may not necessarily be the API still, but the code base we're using, right?
Yeah. Yes. Like trying to not have to rewrite some of the code in the add-on. Yeah. That seemed to be the major problem he was trying to solve.
And then the API could be tuned for performance.
Yeah, I don't know, like if he had in mind, like whether that was one of the issues or not. You know, we have a number of APIs, I guess, and the add-ons. I guess that today the add-ons can use some of those, but it seems like some stuff is internal and they can't. So it would be exposing what add-ons could use. So yeah, I'm not sure what that tuning would look like, but you're right, because like those ones could, you know, maybe do something slightly different to get better performance. So yeah, I think we should keep an eye on this, see where it goes, try and figure that out. Like, you know, if it's like new APIs which look like NAPI APIs but which are not exposed, you know, definitely we'd want to coordinate, you know, align things the best we can.
Yeah.
And
okay, anything? Sorry, go ahead.
The last thing is SQLite. So I just to understand. So I SQLite like a node official add-on.
I think in this case, it was just that like as soon as James said, hey, I'd like to have some special treatment.
Okay.
Some other people
yeah.
were like, so do we.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where it's, and like, they're like, hey, I want you to bundle SQLite in with Node. And it's like, okay, we can kind of see the,
Yeah,
when somebody
it's
suggests it, then you end up with this, you know, and that's where Rod was commenting is like,
Yeah.
and then you immediately get into this issue of, well, why one versus another, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's reasonable for me because in other platform SQLite can in has a special treatment, no? In PHP, in Go, for example. Yeah, you have the support.
So it comes like if I install Go, you
on the
get
standard library. Yeah.
It's SQLite's included automatically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In some platform, yeah, you
Okay.
have the SQLite included. So yeah, it's yeah. Like any other. Now I don't remember other examples, but yeah, SQLite is one of these. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple different conversations going on that could be related as well in terms of, you know, there's a few different cases where it's like things don't need to be in core, but it would be nice to potentially have something like a standard library which says here's a, you know, the set of common things that you're likely going to need, and whether they're shipped with Node or not, just being in the standard library kind of gives them the focus that there's like, hey, here's the one set of things, one implementation. Of course, then there's, you know, the other argument that, well, what does that do to innovation and so forth? So there's kind of that discussion where this could be related to this. And the other one is the binary summit, where they're talking about installers and tool chains. Because the concept discussed there would be something where you could define a tool chain and this installer would install that tool chain. And once you have that, you can start to think about like installing additional components when you install that tool chain. Although like for SQLite, you can just do an npm install and you've got it, right?
Yeah, that's what's perplexing to me is why that would be a burden.
Right.
Has anybody ever written anything in Node based solely on core and never used any other module?
Right. So like I guess this one, when they were SQLite, it was like, hey, we just want you to make sure that you won't break us when you do a new release.
Break the SQL, yeah, but SQLite's now on an API. So,
right. So it should be, that guarantee should already be there.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of that is the history of NAN and
yeah.
So these days, yeah, we guarantee
you already
that.
Get that. Yeah, that's right. You already got that. So
yeah.
And that along with SIGIM running and stuff probably is, you know, provides pretty good coverage.
Yeah, but in a way or other. So yeah, we can maintain a little core or node and then have a standard library. But I feel that native add-on cover it's an important thing because we can expose feature through a native add-on. So yeah, that are in a standard library. So yeah, you're right, Michael. These discussion are are connected together. So now I don't have an idea. So what is the better or for to to support these so native add-ons like James request.
Right. So yeah, I think that one, for me, it's kind of like a wait and see in terms of the discussion, or if there's any more specifics as to what it might look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're pretty much at time. Any other things we should talk about before
I think
we close out?
we're gonna suspend for the next 2 weeks, Michael.
Yeah, I think that's what we agreed last time. People are going to be out, so we will come back in January.
Okay.
So the first date will be
We can look at the calendar.
oh, the first no, and
the 8th would be the next
the
one.
8th, the 8th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
The 8th.
January 8th.
Okay.
Well, thanks for everybody's hard work this year. I think we made a lot of progress, and it'd be great to come back in January and keep on going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicola. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy vacation to everybody. Thanks. See everybody later.